Yeah, do diarrhea. Hey. Wait. Do over. Let me add some context. Dear diarrhea, diary full of shit. That reminds me of one time I got into a laughing contest with this hood rat bitch. Somewhere, it was several years ago when I was driving for this company before, and something happened and she was fucking, what the hell, I don't know, but she was laughing and she was, being rude. So I can fake laugh with the best of them, so I was like, and she was like, she started laughing again, and then I was like, and there was a bunch of dry, and I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. I was like, and I threw in like some legitimate, but with just enough, there was other drivers around and shit, and just, I don't know, fuck a hood rat piece of shit. But the lowest of the human species, they're out there. You can take that out of context if you want to. It just says who you is. But yeah, this was a hood rat. So, but you could be a trailer rat, fucking Mario rat, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I was at a truck stop today, and there was an old CD. Remember CDs, dear online family and friends? It was VHS, those sort of thing when I was, a kid, and it was CDs or DVDs. CDs were music; those don't exist either, I don't think. But you're like your car, hey, CD player. But and I remember in the Mighty Azusa I had a cassette that that plugged into a CD player that you would normally plug headphones into, and you could listen to CDs on your cassette. My little brownest then has a cassette tape still. It's got a spot in the console for change. Quarters, dimes, and nickels. No pennies. And now they've just decided to get rid of pennies altogether, so. But anyway, I saw a DVD, a used DVD. I forget the name of the movie, but it was some dude, and it was like half of his face on one side and the other half was Christy Alley. And Bob's, I've said this before, you kind of look like a young Christy Alley. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that before. And she's all, I think she might be dead, actually. I think she may have died from maybe old age. Maybe it was cut short from cancer or something. I'm not sure. I don't think she was that old. But she was on Cheers for a while. She was in the movie Look Who's Talking, Look Who's Talking 2, and Look Who's Talking Now, where Bruce Willis plays Mikey. I just happen to remember that. And then Look Who's Talking 2, Roseanne, whatever last name is, Roseanne Barr, I think, was her. Played the second baby. And Look Who's Talking Now, I think it was the dog. was talking, and I don't know who played the dog. Was it John Leguizamo? I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know why that just popped into my head. But anyway, yeah, only you're way prettier in Christie Alley and you got those fucking tits. So anyway, we should have a rendezvous. And you can put them titties all over my dick. You know, you do most of the work. You know, all of it. You know, meaning you squeeze them on my dick and move them up and down and all around and all that. You know, kind of squeeze them together, hold them like with your elbow and your forearm or whatever, and just grab my dick and rub the head of my dick on, you know, this nipple and then on the other nipple, and then hold them and kind of clap them together. You know, and just work them all around. Like I said, get them swaying and bouncing, you know, kind of get them clapping, quote unquote, just like where you kind of, boom, bring your arms up and they kind of come up and just sort of out, just sort of gently, you know, and get one, you know, just move your bodies and let your tits, you know, do their thing. So, just as kind of a quick lead in, you know, it doesn't have to be like to music or anything, just, you know, kind of and then drop down on that pillow so your knees are comfortable, or two pillows or whatever. And like I said, Milo doesn't have to know, or he can fuck off. He can go, you know, to Burger King and get him a little Crown and a Hershey pie. You ever had those? They're fucking good. I think they have like other ones. And they've been around for a while. Yeah, and they I like their whatever. Well, what are those things called? Cheddar bites. They're not hot at all. Oh shit! The other day, I ate at one of these. They call them roach coaches, but they're actually pretty good. And it was like a regular ham and cheese sandwich, but with like one of those big raw jalapenos. And it was, I had to like take a bite, and then I'd take a bite of the sandwich. It was too hot for me to, because they used to sell pickled jalapenos at like Chester's and even whatever, Popeyes and whatnot. And I could, but they were pickled, but they still had like some crunch. So like the jalapenos that you get like on nachos are usually pickled, whatever they pickle them in. I don't know, vinegar and salt, whatever. And it kind of seems like it tones the heat down a little bit. And I could only eat 3 of them before like my mouth was like, I had to stop. You know, it's like accumulating too much pepper shit. But one bite of that, and it had super awesome crunch, but I had to, you know, kind of clear it out, and then I take munch, take another bite, you know. But it was a bit much. But like I couldn't eat that just plain. I had to take a bite, crunch it up, and then take a bite of like, you know, the ham and cheese sandwich, and then take another bite of the ham and cheese sandwich. But anyway, so yeah, I really wouldn't mind fucking your tits. You know, if you want to actually like, you know, have a weekend together or a day, and you know, you want to actually have sex, you know, or whatever, and I'll rub my dick on your face, and you know, we'll have some you know, I'll rub your thong, pussy, hammock, and butt cheeks, and this, that, and the other. But the main part of our sexual encounter is going to be my dick, you know, fucking them tits, you know, come between them, run that jack off on your chest shit, you know, and then you can go back to Milo and carry on about your married life, you know, and your parents won't be all like, where did we go wrong, you know, and all that, you know. They don't even have to know. It can just be, I'd say, your dirty little secret, but there won't be nothing dirty about it. It might be your sneaky, conniving, wretched bitch whore. Where did we go wrong, you know, raising you? Milo is your boy. I don't know if you two were married or what, but you went on and ran off, you know, and had a sexual rendezvous with this guy who's damn near old enough to be your dad, you know. So, but that sounds like a you problem. And you could just go back to Milo, and you know, you could, like I said, maybe once a year we could have this, you know, secret rendezvous, you know. So, just something to think about. So, I know I am. But anyway, I just want to. Must be fate. What else could it be? Must be fate. You and me should date, or at least make one. You and me, and the devil makes three. Let's do it up. Rub my dick on your butt. And all that other shit that I said. You see, I busted into that theater type stuff because I know you're kind of like, what was her name? Hay-Bawbz. You know, she was groomed to be an all-star, and she turned out to be a nobody. She's this dive bar hanging out, you know. You should see the lowlifes that she hangs out with. Just total trash. Her mom must be so proud. So, you know, we're going to try and avoid that with you, you know what I mean? Your mom and your dad, you know, and your dad would try and, like, get me for something illegal, and it's like, what's, you know, for anybody just listening in, what are you, like 28? Get your fucking mind out together. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not one of them fucking crackpots. I don't understand that. But, I think it is. It's kind of like a destroying of innocence thing. I think is what it is. It almost has to be. Well, maybe not. Maybe those people actually find that attractive. But I think it's some sort of weird. It's deeper than that. You know, it's fucked up. Yes, it's a destroying of, you know, pureness, innocence, naive. I don't know, having all the power. I don't even know. It seems like there's more. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about that. But anyway, yeah, your dad would be like, over my dead body. Like, he'd be like trying to look up, like, is it legal to have someone killed? You know, because he's stupid and shit, you know. So he'd probably Google it, you know, or talk to somebody, you know, like, I don't know, he might do it, you know what I mean? So, just because, you know, he'd just be like, oh no, you know. But, it's like, it's fucked up, you know. Well, Hollywood, I'm sounding all stupid here, you know what it is? You know what I'm saying? But because I'm not like this old creeper or anything. I'm just older than you know, and it just is what it is. So but yeah, your parents would absolutely, like I said, your mom would, she'd like cry and be disappointed, and, you know, eventually she'd come around, you know, and she'd forgive you. Your dad would forgive you probably right out the bat, and he'd probably blame me, you know, and he probably would, you know. Or maybe he I don't know. But your mom would just be like, oh, my baby, my darling girl. Your dad would be like, you need to, like, go away, either falsely accused, you know, rotting in prison, or dead, or something. So bet you didn't know that about your dad, did you? He couldn't do it himself. I mean, I'm sure he might have it in him, you know, successfully pull something off, you know, because you know, violence is it's something that a lot of people can think about, but it's different when you actually have to, you know. Yeah. You know, the feeling of breaking someone's arm or their nose or something like that, you know. Do you really have the capacity for it? Could you actually stab someone in the throat or the eye? Could you watch the life, you know, leave their eyes? And just all this stuff. And I know that I can. Like I said, it's a good thing I'm a good guy, because I could be one fucking evil son of a bitch. And I'm not going to get into why I know this for an absolute fact, but I just do. But you know, your dad seems like the type of guy who could like hire somebody, you know, and he keeps his pretty little hands clean. And you know, he talked to somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, you know, who'd be willing to get something done. So you probably don't, you know, like me talking about your dear old daddy like this, but do you really know your dad? Do you know him like I do? I mean, maybe I don't know him, but I, you know, there's different options. You know, I don't really and truly know who he is, but I know that he could be that. Or he could also be that. Regardless of what he is, you know, it's like, okay, all right, so he's that. Okay, so that's who we're dealing with. As where with you, it's just like, what? Or if it's me, it's like, okay, all right, that's who he is. So I wasn't quite sure if he was this, that, or the other, but now, okay, he's that. Now there's other variables, you know. But anyway, with titties like that, I'm willing to risk fucking it all up. Let's complicate things. You know, I mean, do you really like being with Milo? Do you really? You know, he's cute. You know, he's lumpy. He's kind of like, he's sexy. Like the fuck. He's like he's stuck as. Has he even gone through puberty yet? I mean, shit. Maybe there's hope. You know, maybe once he goes through puberty, you know, I don't know. Fuck. I mean, what is he older than you? So what? Is he like in his upper 20s and you're in your mid 20s? I forget how old you actually are. But anyway, something to think about. I know Katie Boo's probably thinking like, oh fuck, whatever. And fucko, if you're still out there, your cat died. Sorry to hear about that. That is one fucked up looking cat. How did you acquire that? Did they both die? Damn, that sucks. But yeah, that is a weird. Because didn't you have two? I thought you had like a gray one. Ow. Anyway, yeah, I didn't even know cats could look like that. But I guess that's all I gotta say. Oh shit, that was today too. Ooh, that throws a new twist to things. Because I had mentioned you the other day, Bob's. Briefly, I wasn't really talking about you, but I was like, Bob's, oh yeah. And then I saw that movie, The Christie Alley, and I was like, hey, I've mentioned this before, and I think I'm going to mention it again. You kind of, oh, fuck. So, oh, yeah. And there's a few pictures of you where you're all like, ooh, got that sexy shit going on. And your mom was cool with that. She's like, oh yeah, you know, like even back in the 50s, occasionally girls would be like, ah! You know, like Marilyn Monroe with the dress and stuff. It's like, oh wow, yeah. Hike up that dress, you know, halfway up your shins, you fucking Amish babe, you know, or whatever. That is some hot shit, you know. Your mom's kind of like, oh, that's cool, you know, whatever. You know, kind of got to put some sexy shit out there, but not too much, just the right amount. And you know, Papa Bear's like, oh yes, I agree. Family meeting, or whatever, you know. Let's let her do. Because you were like doing the movie thing and this music thing, and now I don't know what you're doing, honestly. But you know, you are, you know, and you know, and you know, like we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to start talking all stupid and shit, but yeah. So anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say. So now that you're on my mind, I'll be doing some masturbating, you know, to your collages and face and stuff like that. So don't tell Milo, he'd probably be all jealous and shit. Who's this motherfucker think he is, masturbating to my girlfriend? See, that's funny because it doesn't make sense, you know. But and he'd be like this naive little shit, you know. And really, you know, like I said, you'd be spooning him, you'd kiss him on the forehead. Good night, sweet boy. You'd be thinking it was me holding you as we drifted off to slumberland, instead of you holding your stupid bitch ass boy toy or husband or whatever the fuck he is these days, as he drifted off to sleep, you know, so he could go, you know, model, I don't know, backpacks and back to school gear, you know, or something as a 27-year-old boy, you know. But anyway, so thinking about you, Bob's, titties, 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 you dumb bitch. Tell your dear old granddad to mind his own fucking business. And Katie Boo, how's that new house treating you? You go for any new runs in the new neighborhood, do you? That place, it looks, I'm actually happy for you. That's nice shit, man. So you don't live, you kind of moved outside the city a little bit. You're like in the burbs. Isn't that nice? The fucking trees and shit. You're not just like looking down at the top of a tree, you know, in the little grassy area in front of your apartment complex or whatever. There's like sidewalks. There's like two moms out walking their dog. Maybe one of them has a baby. Ooh, I bet you both of them have a stroller in front of them and maybe a dog, you know. And you're just like, ooh. So it's kind of bittersweet, you know, but yeah. You got kind of that new sense of peace, yet like a little bit of excitement going on, you know, like, oh, God, fuck. You know, you just feel more like open. Your anxiety's probably down a little bit. And then it kind of goes up, you know, because it's like, okay, this is new shit. It's a new chapter. So just anxiety by its very nature, you know, it wants to thrive, you know, and you know, do what it does, right? So even though you're in a good place, this is a new chapter in your life. It's more peaceful, quiet, you know, just everything. These trees and these sidewalks and just suburban life, so pretty and clean. Suburban life, the American dream. Suburban life, song sung by the Cottonmouth Kings. Suburban life. It's one of their. It's an older song. Look it up. You know, so it's like that's you now. That's you. You know, do you have a backyard? Do you have a front yard? Do you have? You got like more. Oh, you know. Do you have carpet? Oh, fuck. You know, just. You know, but there's still, and of course there's always that void, you know, of finding your husband, and I don't know if you still want kids, and, you know, you're like, fuck, you know, so then there's that just, you're like, oh, and you kind of got the anxiety, because like I said, in and of itself, and then anxiety is like, and just, boom, you know, left, right, gut punch, boom, shin kick, uppercut, right, smack jab, not even in a job, a square on the nose. Things are in slow motion. Oh, fuck. Oh, you're flying through the air. You know, your feet, you know, you're off the ground. You're vertical, and you just, you know, and you're like, oh, you know, and it just it's your battle, you know, but so I'm happy for you.